So today's gonna be a little bit of a different video that I originally had planned. To be honest with you, I had planned and was actually in the middle of editing a review for today's video. Actually today's the day before, Tuesday night. But you'll be seeing this on Wednesday. But as I was editing the video, I had a pour of some of this Weller Antique. That I just wanted. I hadn't had it in a while. I just wanted a little taste of it, and it's pretty good. Like, it's got all those kind of notes you want. Nice little cherry note. Definitely got some little dusty quality to it. You know, it's a very good pour, and I'm very happy with it. But as I was drinking it and I was editing the video, I was just thinking to myself, like, getting these bottles and people getting them, standing in line for them, and just like all this kind of stuff, like, is it even worth it? And in this video, I'm not gonna pick on them per se. They're just the first person that kind of came to mind. But the first person I thought of was Buffalo Trace, and so I know a lot of Buffalo Trace products have that really nice quality to them. Like, you can get something like a Stag, for example, or you can get something like this Ancient Age and Weller Reserve, and then you can get the Weller Antique, like I had mentioned, and you can get something like, this Benchmark. Like, they have a whole plethora of different high-end, low-end products that you can get. And again, I'm not picking on them specifically in this video. They're just the first that came to my mind. This video is more just a general question and discussion of, is it worth it to get these kind of hyper, almost like mythically allocated bottles? So, for example, I don't have it up here, but when I first got into whiskey a couple years ago, one of the first drops that I went to at the local liquor stores was they had a special release for I believe it was for a March Madness. So it was a March Madness, just surrounded with that. Like, it was a surprise drop. I guess they just had extra inventory or whatever. But they decided to drop extra bottles, and that included, it had like some sort of tequila, maybe a couple tequilas, Blanton's, and then a couple other interesting bottles. But the big one that I was looking at was Blanton's, and unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately now, but unfortunately when I first started, I didn't know any better, and I was like, oh man, I saw the word Blanton's, and I'd watched videos, and I'd, followed people on social media and seen all the hype about, Blanton's and Weller's and all of this stuff, and so I was very interested, and I was like, wow, I'm super excited. This is going to be like some of the best bourbon I've ever tried. And people are buying this for hundreds of dollars and, standing in line for it. And so I got myself up, and I got there in the morning. I don't remember how, I mean like 9 in the morning or something when they opened. So I got there at like, 8:15. I was standing there in line, and I was in the top 10 spots, and I didn't know how much they were going to have. It turns out they had like 2-3 cases, I think, at the store that I ended up at. But I was so wrapped up in the hype that I was just like, I gotta have it. And so I ended up going there, getting in line, and I actually got a bottle. Like I said, there was 2 or 3 cases of it. And so I was worried I was not going to get it. And luckily I did. So that was the kind of first drop of bourbon that I kind of went to. And like I said, I was just starting out, so it was one of those things where, to me, that was a win. Like, that was super awesome. I got it for MSRP, like 70-something bucks, and I was so excited to try it. And I did try it. And when I got home, I tried it, and I was really, really impressed. Like, it was so good. But now that I look back on it, I tried it. I still had that bottle up until like a few months ago, and actually, so I had it for like a year and a half almost. I was trying to just save it and just really experience it. But I tried it a lot, obviously, since I first gotten it, and it was one of those things where it was like, it was good, but it wasn't worth, to me, standing in line and getting a bottle like that for $100 something, like, or going and searching all over the countryside just to find it for $130 or something ridiculous. Was it worth the $75 I got it for? I would say it was close. Maybe not, but it was close. Was it worth it to get up? Maybe, maybe not. But again, it was my first Blanton, so like you could say it definitely was worth it, which I think it was. But would I go again for another Blanton's? No, I don't think I would. Just because I know what it tastes like. I know what that's like now, and I'm just not. I'm not interested. I'm just not. And it was something. It's things like that, and things like another story for when I first started was like a few months. Around that same time, I actually didn't know any better, so I went to my local store, was asking, hey, do y'all have like, do y'all have any Wellers or anything like that? And the clerk, like the lady, she looked at me like I had like two heads or something, because she was like, no, we don't have those. And then I learned what an allocated product was, and drops, and that was really early on. So I was still learning, so I'm going to cut myself a little slack. But it was also like, I just remember being so caught up in all the hype first starting out that I just didn't know better. And then if I had searched far and wide to try to find those bottles, who knows what could have happened. I could have ended up spending twice MSRP just to get a bottle that ended up being just okay. Because because when I first started, I didn't know better. And there was another story that I was actually searching in Columbus, Georgia, and I was looking for a bottle, and I had heard things about the Willet pot still, and so I thought it was also a super rare bottle, and I was just going for like rarity. Like I was like, oh man, I can't get this in my area, it must be good. So I tried the Willet pot still, and as a lot of you may know, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not the greatest thing to ever be distilled. So, and I didn't pay anything super outrageous for it. I got it for like $50 or something like that. So it's again not terrible, but like knowing now what I know, knowing what I know now, I would have never bought that bottle. Good thing that I did, but if I had the knowledge I do now, would have never even thought about it. So all that to say that this video is really just giving my thoughts. I'm interested in what y'all have to say about this. Just like, are these worth it? Like, are these kind of, again, not Buffalo Trace specifically, but any sort of like rare bottles that are getting hype, that are just getting hyped up, and that people are saying all this good stuff, and then that you can't find anything and all that, or like not even saying the good stuff, actually, just like you can't find it in your area, and like all the ones you do find are like twice, 3 times MSRP. So like this Stag is normally like $80 to $100, I think. And the cheapest I ever saw this bottle before I actually got this one was $150 something, like way over MSRP. And some people may think it's worth it. I can see where that is. Stag, this bottle particularly is very good. But I don't think I would have paid $150 for it. And things like, for example, even something like this Weller Special Reserve. Now, this Weller Special Reserve is pretty good for what it's worth. It is a $30-something bottle, I believe. Maybe. It's definitely nothing over 40. $30-something bottle at most. This bottle I have seen go for 50. I have seen go for 70. I have also heard online about stores in my state, in my area, have sold this bottle for upwards of $150, $200 plus. Insanity. And if that store's selling the Special Reserve for $200, I wouldn't even want to know what they sell this Weller Antique for. That would be crazy. So again, it's just some of these hype bottles are good, but I just don't think, in my opinion, a lot of them are worth it. Is Buffalo Trace good? Yes, I do think the Buffalo Trace products are good. Are they worth the hype? No, I don't think so. And I'm trying to think of some other ones. So, for example, I'm looking over my collection, see if I can think of any other examples of some bottles that might be good. So I'll give an example. So I know that there are some bottles that are high priced, which may think they may be good. I think that just because there's a high price on it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, as with most things. But especially in whiskey. So, for example, there is another company or another distillery called Whistle Pig. Now, again, I'm not dunking on Whistle Pig just because they're just the first that come to my mind. So, Whistle Pig's got some good products. I will admit some of their products are good. Some of them even are really good. However, if you ever think about getting a 10-year rye or some finished rye or some, not just completely, standard 4-year, 2-year rye, then you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay hundreds of dollars, many hundreds of dollars to get that bottle. And I just don't think it's worth it in any situation at all. So for me, when I first started, it was really a game of, well, the higher the price of the bottle, the more rare the bottle, the better it's going to be. And as I've learned through collecting and trying so many different bottles, that's just not the case. It's really just the case of finding hidden gems and finding distilleries that are doing things differently or having good prices, or just care about their customers. Like, finding that kind of distillery is where you want to put your money. And not these big distilleries that are gonna artificially, naturally, whatever you believe, jack up the rarity of these bottles, either to make a buck or for whatever reasons they have. But there's things like for example, like Early Times Bottled and Bond. That bottle is so good for $20-something. I don't think it's worth 50 plus. I think it's another bottle that's worth very much that price or maybe a little bit more just because it is a liter bottle, but I wouldn't pay 50 plus for it. And so there's also bottles that are really cheap that are readily available that are really good too. So this is another Buffalo Trace product that is definitely a lot more available in the States, and it's their Benchmark stuff, and they have a whole line. They have a Benchmark foolproof, top floor, bottled and bond, single barrel. They have a normal batch stuff, but that stuff's just really, really cheap. But anything that's not their standard Benchmark that's in this kind of square bottle is really good for the price. So this foolproof I have seen for as low as $20. I think this in my state, in my area, is like $23. I would gladly pay that and more, like up to $30 probably. And it's pretty widely available. So like I said, Buffalo Trace does good stuff, but any bottle to me that is hyped up, rare, stupid expensive, I'm always weary of. And so I think just the whole point of this video in wrapping up is that I just wanted to just talk about this and talk about, the scene for this year. Are these bottles worth it? In my opinion, these kind of hype bottles, these bottles that, you hear a lot about and you think that if you get it, it's just gonna be the best thing ever. Are they worth it? At their normal price, yes, but the problem is you won't find it at those prices hardly at all. And it's a shame that you have to be in a lottery system and some sort of liquor store system to get a chance to buy these products or to get these bottles. It's just a sad state. But as for this year, I'm hoping we go away from that. I'm hoping this year, with all this, with all the stuff in the economy and with the bourbon scene in general, hoping maybe we can get some more standard stuff. More, I'm not saying bland. I'm saying more more age-stated things, more unique experimental things, more that are not going to be just super rare for no reason. Things that are going to be more shelf-stable products that we can all enjoy for a good, relatively simple price. So I'm really hoping that all these bottles here you'd be able to find, and I'm hoping there's going to be more bottles this year that we'll be able to find. So that was just my rant for the video. Like I said, I was just trying to edit the video and just kind of thought about talking about this and just wanted to get my opinion out there and see what people think about these hype bottles and what their opinions are and what they think, maybe this year is going to hold for, the whiskey and bourbon scene. But yeah, so thank you for sitting around and watching. It's been a pleasure to just kind of rant here for a little bit. You'll probably see some videos here on screen. Don't forget to go check those out. Those are some good ones, some other reviews and things like that. But yeah, I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time here on Burn 'em Barrel.